Britain's BBC has revealed a massive gap between salaries paid to the top male and female anchors and presenters. The corporation says Chris Evans, the radio and TV presenter who hosted Top Gear for one series, tops the list. He took home up to $3.3 million in 2016 and 2017. Now, in contrast, the highest paid woman was entertainment presenter Claudia Winkleman. She earned about $600,000 for her work on Strictly Come Dancing and other shows. Now, the BBC has been under pressure for years to disclose how much it pays anchors. The obligation to name them in part of the latest 10-year funding settlement with the government.
We need to employ the very best presenters, the best correspondents, the best stars that there is. We're in a very competitive market.
We are all in it together, yes? We're all in it together because we are part of a fantastic, proud project.
Now, Ollie Barrett joins us in London with more on this. Ollie, welcome to the show. Now, of course, this report has revealed all sorts of things, such as the fact that Britain's biggest TV names are underpaid compared to stars in the US and other parts of Europe. Also, its male stars are paid 5 times more than the women. What are the biggest shockers coming out?
Yeah, I think the biggest shockers are certainly those issues around diversity, not just gender, but race and ethnicity as well. That comparison with stars in the United States may be being made by some of the presenters here in the UK, but for most of the people on this list, this is about work that they are doing on domestic UK television, and so the audiences here in the UK are of course much smaller than for the equivalents in the United States, the big stars there who are taking home salaries that would make some of these numbers on the British list look like loose change. But that issue about diversity, on the list in total, 62 men, 34 women. The top 6 people on this list are all men, there are no women, and they are all white men. There is a real lack of representation on this list out from the BBC of black, Asian and minority ethnic television presenters as well, and those that are on the list are way down on those top numbers that people like Chris Evans are taking home. So the real controversy here for the BBC has become not so much about the headline numbers, but about those differences, about those areas in which they have clearly a lot of work to do when it comes to diversity and equality.
Now, Ollie, that's certainly disappointing, but we know this was all part of an effort to make the BBC more transparent. What were the motives exactly behind the UK government's move to push the BBC to make salaries more transparent?
Well, the idea is to improve openness and transparency at the state broadcaster here in the UK because it is, of course, in a way publicly funded. It is funded by a licence fee. People who want to avail themselves domestically of British television services coming from the BBC have to pay an annual fee to get access to the television, to the radio they want to watch and listen to. The government feels that as such, the people who are consuming this media deserve more of a sense of transparency and openness about exactly where their money is going. Now, many people agree with that. Many people go along with that idea. And this has come as part of a renewal of the BBC Charter to renew that idea of a licence fee to fund the broadcaster's activities here in the UK and elsewhere. But certainly there are criticisms of the idea too. Many are saying that now in the open marketplace, commercial broadcasters can come along, look at names on this list, say he or she is paid that much money, I'm going to poach them by offering them a bit of a pay rise. Other critics say that what will have to happen now is that the BBC can't give men on the list a pay cut to bring them into line with women. The women will have to get a pay rise, and so that actually what this will mean is that a huge amount more funding will have to go to the biggest stars in British television who are employed at the BBC. So lots of difficulties here, but the idea from the government was to increase that transparency for people who pay money to watch and listen to BBC material.
Now, Ollie, give us a sense of the response to this news. Has there been any serious backlash following the release of these salary numbers?
There has been some backlash, certainly some viewers, some consumers are looking at this list and they have a personal preference for some of the presenters on it. Many of them will look at a particular presenter or news anchor and say, I don't like he or she, and I don't believe he or she is worth the money that the BBC is paying them. It's led to another type of response, though, as well. Many people have been taking to social media here in the UK to say that actually the BBC is incredible value for money. If you look at the licence fee that people have to pay and the amount of product, be it television or online or radio, that they get in exchange. So it has certainly created a debate around value for money. It's created that debate around issues of diversity as well. So whatever the ambitions here from the government in terms of making the BBC publish this list, and the BBC was opposed to it, by the way, it certainly provoked a debate.
Well, many thanks for that, Ollie. Ollie Barrett joining us there in London.